2023 entered in economic terms with wide intentions. The problem of the looming economic collapse. I am Karlheinz Oettinger, and this is Karlito's Way, the podcast that deals fully dedicated with Uranian astrology and the events that will happen around the world on geopolitical, economic, and military level. If you love astrology but also looking for something more specialized, then you are in the right place. I look forward to sharing my knowledge and predictions with you. Sit back and get ready to learn the news long before it happens. Firstly, I want to tell you that most of the predictions are excerpts from the book Global Predictions for 2023, written by myself and my partner George Vafiadis. The new findings I state clearly. 2023 has entered, economically speaking, with a wild mood. The problem of the looming financial collapse is multi-level, and it is worth it, even at this time, to look carefully to see if we can save what we can save. It seems that, after all, the Titanic and the global economy are sinking by experts, which lead us to speculate that, first, they are not so much experts after all. Second, some people have dubbed them experts. Third, they are idiots after all. And fourth, they are carrying out a cunning plan. It seems that the 2008 crisis did not help change the habit of the bankers and brokers, but neither did the investors. Derivatives were and are the problem. How the banking system and stock market work. A bank is essentially a financial institution. The bank encourages customers to put their money in when it establishes itself with a powerful name. The bank obtains its funds from shareholders, bonds, depositors, and the sale of banking products and services. When a bank collapse occurs, then we have a bailout. What we need is a brand name that gives a confident name, for example, First Bank or Investment Bank or Powerful Bank or whatever, and a little money. As a banker, you advertise the bank by inviting people to say, bring your money, people, and I give you 3% interest in your deposits. So, the little mice see the cheese but not the trap. So, Mr. George, for example, who owns a factory, comes and says in your bank, 3% is a change. I'm going to put $1 million to be safe, as a capital, of course. We'll go to second level, and you grant loans and credit cards. Loans people for 10% interest rate free stuff. After all, here comes Deborah, John, and Mike, and 297 others asking for $10,000 loans to go on vacation or buy a new car. Here comes a problem. The bank, as a bank, has no money. But no, it has Mr. George's money. And he say, I can use it. If he doesn't need it, why not to distribute it to help the kids to go on holiday, to buy a car, whatever. But here is a little thing. As a bank, I am not a charity. She says to put a guarantor and mortgage to be on the safe side. Everyone is having a good time and everything is fine until one morning, for example, Mr. George comes to bank and in a half and ask $1 million bucks for various projects. As a bank, you start to tell them to lend him with his own money, of course, but let's just say he refuses. Then, as a bank, you go to the central bank or national bank, for example, or at Fed, if we're talking about the United States, and the bank asks $1 million bucks as a refund. I sold them 300 loans, and I sell them 4% on the 10% interest, and I get the service they give me. I'll be left with 6% to spend. Of course, the central bank or national bank or Fed agrees, as they see the loans as green, and for as long as they are, and give you the $1 million dollar. Then you go to Mr. George, and you can not imagine how happy and depressed you are leaving him to tell him about leasing, payroll, etc. And the man is astonished and starts to say, so-called word to mouth, how strong and solvent the bank is. If we want to talking about with Uranian astrological terms, we define the central or national bank of each state as Jupiter Chronos, but if we see it as a sensitive point, then we look at the equation, vernal point Cupidon equals Chronos. The problem is ultimately national, only American, for example, or global. I will expose my views, but mostly I will say what I said in live 2023. Let's start with what I said at live on a global scale about what should they expect. What does 2023 portend? The year 2023 starts with vernal point equals Jupiter, and that could be a good indication, especially considering that the interpretation we have is global growth, global profitability, good luck and general success, money, stacks, general satisfaction, justice and philosophy. But will it be a good indication, or is it a good indication for those who realized that they should get involved in speculation and generally weird business? The years we have had a planetary involvement with the 0-degree cardinal zodiac, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, brought out important events. If we take as a starting point that we have a vernal point equals Jupiter in 2023, it will be good to take a look at which years we had a similar situation in the annual horoscope. Globalization started in 1914, according to the leading economist. We had vernal point Jupiter in the annual horoscope. The years that we had a correspondence of this equitation these are years that highlighted changes in the economic situation. Let's look at what happened. As I said, 1914, for many economists, is the beginning of globalization. 1925, brokers began allowing customers to buy stocks at a profit margin. Investors only needed to put up 10 or 20% of a stock price, and brokers would let them the remaining 90%. Buying on margin allowed investors to buy more shares than they could previously afford, and then earn higher profits in the share price rose. This same innovation became impossible when the stock prices fell during the stock market crash of 1929, 1935 and 1940, where the period of the Great Depression, the recession left behind after the 1929 stock market crash. 1946, just after the end of the World War II. 1957, the establishment of European Economic Community. 1963, the JFK assassination. And last but not least, 2008, the stock market crash, the Lehman Brothers. We had a vernal point equals Jupiter. 2023 is the beginning of deglobalization. I will give you 2 or 3 equations to help you to understand what is coming. Saturn equals Sun Chronos. Loss of independence, separation through state power, difficulties of government, death of superior, a cover-up of a case. Of volcanoes equals Saturn Chronos, entity trial by authorities or very powerful persons, under guard, suffer losses, deprivation of personal freedom. Apollo equals Hades Chronos, identification of a larger bribe, great shortage in the government was made known to the public. I can tell you more, but it's still too soon, as Titiano, El Greco's teacher, told to El Greco himself in the movie El Greco by Yanis Maraglis. People may ask us for the truth, but they want it. Listen to my advice. Never show them everything. They will never forgive you. The changes will be decisive as the new forces come to the fore, banks and mortgages. 2023 will be a very difficult situation for banks, as they will try slowly to increase their profitability by having gradually negative interest rates. That means you'll be paying the cost to keep your money. With various tricks, they will try to convince you not have your money frozen and to invest it. You have to know when you get out, a science grid is very bad thing. The goal is to get money out of the banks to get to the economy running, considering that every 22.3 years we see a bubble go. I think 2000 was a tech shareholder bubble. 2023, 2024 is the cryptocurrency bubble period. In 2022, 7 trillion bucks was lost in the Nasdaq index. Will 2023 be worse? The answer is clearly yes. Jupiter. I usually accept bribes from both sides so that dirty money never influences my decisions. A quote from Francis Bacon. In 2023, Jupiter will be in conjunction with the vernal point and Sun, and this could mean that it will solve the problem of the economy. The equation vernal point equal Jupiter speaks about speculation. If we take a look at 20th and 21st century until 2023, as many times in the 20th and 21st century, Jupiter was in contact with the vernal point in annual chart. We had the following events. For many economists, at the end of 1913 is the beginning of globalization. The President of the United States of America, Thomas Woodrow Wilson, signs the Federal Reserve Act. The former US President entered into the mutual aid pact with the bankers Morgan and Rockefeller, from which he was to benefit, offering in return his assistance through the establishment of a central bank. Wilson noted in his diary years later, without meaning to, I have destroyed my country. A great industrial nation will be controlled by its financial system. All our activities are now in the hands of only a few people. 1925, brokers began allowing customers to buy stocks on margin. Investors only needed to put 10 or 20% of a stock price, and the brokers would lend them the remaining. Buying on margin allowed investors to buy more shares than they could previously afford, and then higher profits in the share price rose. The same innovation became impossible when the stock price fell during the stock market crash of 1929. And of course, we have 1935 and 1940, where the period of Great Depression, the recession left behind by the aftermath of 1929 stock market crash, 1946, just after the end of World War II, 1957, the establishment of European Union, 1963, the JFK assassination, and of course, 2008, the Lehman Brothers crash and the beginning of financial collapse. All of this had Jupiter equals a vernal point. For the year 2023, we will have new games and activity based on speculation thanks to Jupiter. Violent act aimed for the personal gain of those who commit them. Intense seismic activities, while propaganda will be at its best. The court will issue decisions, laws, confessions, orders, and warrants to discipline the whole. Many revelations will create tremendous pandemonium, happy through a state dependency, finding the necessary protection to escape a danger, cutting some bad habits, lung disease, and pneumonia. Of course, we have the equation Jupiter equals Hades Vulcanus, happy through a state of dependency, find the necessary protection to escape a danger, and the annual sensitive point, vernal point, Jupiter equals Cronus from 2023 was equal to Neptune. In the projections for America, he predicted that for 2023, America must prepare for a new Lehman Brothers. Here we go next. We go to a map that we have not checked for 4 years, the natal chart of Deutsche Bank. Recall that in the 2008 crisis, Deutsche Bank was also exposed to many million of solar arc admitos equals Hades Kronos and midheaven admitos, and this is interpreted as large acts committed in a limited scope, but deeds are often not discovered. And of course we have battles against everything are against my position, despite the passing solar arc midheaven equals Saturn. Natal eventually he also had the equation vernal point Kronos equals midheaven, having great power, the independent person, and therefore go away with it. And of course, at this time we have Neptune equal Apollo, indicating the direction of misleading the public and bribery, useless teaching, wrong choice to subject matter, plain money based on intuition. And of course, my opinion is derivatives and the dollar are the ultimate systemic risk. Leverage an investment strategy that uses borrowed money, specifically the use of various financial instruments or borrowed funds to increase to the potential return on investment. Leverage can also refer to the amount of a debt a firm uses to finance assets. I suppose it's not necessary to explain what exactly is speculation. I suppose a lot of you know better than me, but I want to mark this thing. Note two probabilities of speculation: investing in a dollar and then leveraging it in derivatives. We are talking about a huge bubble of almost 2.5 quadrillion. If we proceed to Deutsche Bank 2023 annual chart, we can see annual Neptune equals Hades radix, and this is tells about the axis of lack of mental sobriety in decay, drowning, suffocation, mystery disease manifest themselves slowly, try to hide my poverty, the troubled past, unresolved issues. And of course, with the annual for 2023, vernal point Jupiter equals Kronos to Apollo, and this could mean many good achievements. But we are the Neptune Vulcanus and Hades Kronos. Things globally are very difficult, as many of the assurances are false. If we told you the banks were not doing well, will you leave your money? Don't wait for when they say it. Besides, if they follow through, you will lose your money and you have no insurance. Of course, with equation Apollo equals Neptune Vulcanus, we're talking about inflation, destruction of prosperity, big plans and deceptions, detections of an extensive bribe and revealing corruption. With Apollo equals Hades Kronos, detecting a big bribe, a great shortage in a government is becoming known to the public. When the Lehman Brothers crisis started in 2008, the Europeans, despite knowing that they were exposed, know that they had found a useful idiot, no one other than Prime Minister of Greece, and the political hyenas of the PASOK party, who, like the other politicians, act like vultures eating from the flesh of semi-dead Greece. So, all the damage was absorbed by Greece by doing things that no politician who had a conscience will do. But my friends, the crisis of 2008 never went away. It's not over. In my article from 2019, more specifically from 1st of December 2019, entitled Jupiter Admetos equals Neptune, Europe, a flashpoint, I mentioned in my article that using the mathematical equation, we have that in the 3 years, 2019 and 2022, Germany, Italy and Spain acquired a huge problem. As for Greece, see you in a new article. COVID came and we leave it, but because the countries did not understand what is coming, we are entering a Lehman Brothers Part 2. And as we know, the next part is worse than the previous one. But what has happened in America will come to Europe. The hit on Credit Suisse is not a small thing. Silicon Valley Bank is number 155 in the global rankings, while Credit Suisse is a deeply systemic bank in a nation considered the mecca of depository of Western wealth. I think Saturn is coming from 28th of March 2023 and equals Admeto on a cosmic level, and this gives us the interpretation: the person who will find themselves in a difficult situation and overcome obstacles, depression, rigidity, slow end, and sale of property, stuck in a situation for a long time. But also we have Saturn equals Hades Kronos, loses from the government mismanagement. The government is not keeping its promise. Abandonment by government. And of course, Admetos equal Hades Kronos, lands acts committed in a limited field, but deeds which often go undiscovered. At the same time, it comes and hits the map of Deutsche Bank, a bank that is the engine of Europe. The two eclipses in April and October 2023 will have a very large negative impact on the economy, which is linked to a US dollar knockout. You must be careful. Banks and dollar are not longer heavens. While renewing our appointment for the next week. Until then, take care of yourself and your money. Good luck.